Becca,
Jeff.
are you ready to talk about a movie? Are you ready to talk about what is maybe your favorite movie?
Oh, yes. I am so ready.
This is going to be interesting. All right. Welcome to the Close Knit Cinema Podcast. Me and Becca are siblings who love to talk about movies. And on this show, we take turns discussing some of our favorite movies. So, today, are we talking... whose favorite are we talking about today?
We're talking about one of my favorite movies.
One of Becca's favorites.
Yes.
Okay. And what is the movie we're talking about? We are talking about the 1997 classic Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big one. It was written and directed by James Cameron, and it stars Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio. Quick summary. During the maiden voyage of the unsinkable RMS Titanic in 1912, impoverished artist Jack Dawson falls in love with first-class passenger Rose... I don't know how to say her last name. Do you know?
DeWitt Bukater.
DeWitt Bukater, who is engaged to a wealthy but cruel man. Their love blossoms as the ship sails, but it is tragically cut short when the vessel hits an iceberg and sinks, forcing them to fight for survival.
Mm.
All right, Becca, let's get right into it. We have a lot to cover, I think.
Yes.
So, Becca, first off, where does this fall on your list of favorites?
This is a big one. This happens to be my favorite movie. It is number 1 on my top 10 list.
Yes, it is.
So it's big movie, big number 1. So
yeah, and yeah.
Yeah.
So we're doing number 1 today, which is interesting.
We went from number 10 to number 1 on my list. So.
Oh my gosh. And yeah, this is, turns out it's not on my list, which should be no surprise to anybody, I guess. But, So Becca, what makes this your favorite movie? Literally your favorite movie. What is it about this movie? Why is it your favorite?
Oh man, this is going to be a long, probably longer than it should be description, or answer rather. So I've watched this movie for a very long time. I was watching this when I was in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what mom and dad's thoughts were on me watching this at such a young age, but it was actually me and my friends go to sleepover movie. Yeah. So we watched this at a lot of sleepovers, and what was funny is that I remember that me and one of my other friends really liked the second half of the movie, where the sinking happens and all the action and intensity, and then we had another friend who really liked the romance and so of the first half. So whenever we watched it, it seems like we had to debate which half we would start when we were going to sleep, and then we would watch the other half the next morning, even if it wasn't in order.
Oh, yeah.
And because it was so long ago, and this is such a long movie, it was on 2 VHS tapes. So
yep, I remember.
So that's fun.
Yep. the dual VHS.
But yeah, I think I became kind of, I don't know if obsessed maybe makes it sound a little stronger than it was, but at that age I just was fascinated by the Titanic, and I know this movie started that fascination. Mm-hmm. And so I had a couple of books at least on facts about the Titanic, both the actual events and the movie.
Yep.
So I just really found it interesting, both historically and from the perspective of like filmmaking. And anyway, just to be more specific, that's more of the nostalgia. I do just like love a lot about this movie, which is true for most movies on your list, right? But I love Kate Winslet as an actress. I had a crush on Leo.
Yep.
Of course.
Yep.
As I'm sure a lot of girls did watching that. And I just love the grandness of the thing, like the scale of the movie. It's just so big. Mm-hmm. It's a huge love story, a huge tragedy, and I loved how well it was made and how well it portrays real life events.
Yeah, yeah.
But that being said, I've always said for choosing your favorite movie, for me, I think it needs to be a movie that you love, a movie that you revisit often. Mm-hmm. So it's like a regular one that you watch. And then a movie that you can't imagine not being able to watch. And so given those three criteria, I made the choice a long time ago that this is that movie for me. Like, I put it at number 1 and I have chosen to leave it there. So anyway, that's my very long explanation of why it's my favorite movie.
Yeah, totally.
And do you like this movie, Jeff? What are your thoughts on it?
Oh boy. So I'll be completely honest. I was kind of dreading watching this movie. I've seen it before. You know, we grew up watching it. It's funny. It took me back a little bit. I went through pictures and I figured it out. In 1998, so the year right after this, because it came out late 97, I'm pretty sure. Mm. But like somewhere in summertime of 98, we went on a trip, family, to like Wyoming or something like that. And I remember the hotel that we were staying at or whatever, they had like, and this was pretty typical, they had a VHS rental place. Like you could rent a movie for your room or whatever. And for some reason, someone thought it was a good idea to rent Titanic. Titanic was so big at that time. And like, I was pretty young too when this happened, but like, I remember they popped that in, and the thing that I remember most is when it gets to the art scene. We'll call it that for now. Art scene. I remember someone like mom was like, Jeff, get up, go somewhere for a minute, And I remember I went and hid like under a chair or something, and I caught glimpses of what was happening. I ultimately didn't watch the entire scene, but like I was like, oh, okay, it's one of those kind of scenes. Okay, whatever. But no, so this isn't on my favorites list. I don't think it's a movie that I'm choosing to watch very often, but there are definitely things that I really like about this movie. And it's funny you mentioned the first half and the second half and how they're two different things. Because I think I'm in the camp of like, the second half is much more interesting and entertaining to me. And the first half it's a bit hard for me to watch. And it's not that I'm like against watching romance movies or even period romance movies, which is what this is, right? And you're gonna, I'm gonna save this for later, but like, there's just things about the first half that I really have a hard time with. And I feel like part of it is that James Cameron, I think this is the first time he was doing a movie like that. Just straight up period romance drama. Like that's what he's doing here, and he'd never really done that in my opinion up to that point. He just hadn't done it. And then you get to the second half of the movie and it's like, oh, there's the James Cameron that I like. And I do have a few James Cameron movies on my list, so that's a thing. But it's like the second half of the movie it turns into an action suspense thriller disaster movie essentially. And like
in his realm. So
so I like that. I mean, it starts to feel like a couple of other movies he's made, and I'll talk about that too. But I think the standout for me is that I also I love James Horner music. And so I have to give this movie a pass because he did an incredible job with the music in this movie. I personally think this is maybe one of those cases where the composer of the music maybe elevated the movie from a B to an A. Like, I don't know that this movie is as successful without James Horner's music, but you could say that about lots of different aspects of the movie. Like, you take Kate or Leo out and it's like, yeah, it might not have been as good. And also the chemistry between Leo and Kate is very good.
Yes.
They are very good together in the movie. So I can appreciate that. I appreciate, to your point, the technical aspects of the movie, and it still holds up pretty dang well today. There are a couple things that are a little like, you can tell there's CGI people or composited people in certain shots, and it looks a little wonky, but like, I don't actively hate this movie. The first half just, it doesn't totally do it for me. So I'll leave it at that for
now. Sounds good.
But I did watch the entire movie in preparation for this.
You did. It's challenging.
This is gonna be a fun one. Becca, what's the movie trying to say? What's your personal takeaway from this movie?
It's so funny because when I first tried to answer this question, I was like, is it even trying to say anything? And then it like hit me like, oh, of course it is. It was weird that like right after watching it, I didn't really feel like it had a defined meaning or purpose.
Yeah.
But then I like thought about it for a while and it was like, yes, there is a couple that come to mind. I think there's the message of just living your life fully, which is kind of an obvious one with, lines Jack makes about, making it count.
Yep.
He gives that whole spiel about how he loves his life and his existence, even though other people look down on how he lives. He's like, I make the most of it. It's great. And then Kate Winslet's character, Rose, she experiences this terrible traumatic event, but she still is capable of living her life and getting past it and having a full life. She has a family and experiences all of these neat things, which is what Jack tells her to do, right? You need to live, you need to go on and enjoy your life, have a family. And so I think that's an obvious message of doing that. And then the other one that the thing I personally take from the movie, which is going to sound maybe a little silly, is just like having empathy for the tragedy. Like, I don't really know how to express that, but like, that's how I felt, I think, as a young child.
Yeah.
I feel like this was the first time I watched something that really like conveyed to me like, holy crap, like people lived through this, like something this bad, and it shows it so realistically, and it made me feel for these people. Like, there are several like tiny instances throughout the film where I'm like, those poor people, like the people on the ship that can't read English, like that. I, as a child, I remember saying that to my friends, like, those poor people. And there's several little things where I was like, oh, those people, it's so for me, it was like, I think it's not teaching, but like, I think that is part of the message of the movie, is like trying to show people like, look at how horrific this was. And I don't know. What do you think?
It's funny, like, I think we're in agreement on this, actually. I wrote down, this is how I put it, and I think it's saying the same thing you're saying.
Okay.
I said, when I was watching it, and again, the messages are kind of interesting because you have the modern day stuff with Bill Paxton's character and Rose in her old age. There's something being said with that. And then there's little commentary, essentially, which I think makes it hard to say that it's like it has a message, because I feel like James Cameron is just trying to make like a historical document, basically. He's trying to be true to this, which makes it a little weird that he chose to use fictitious characters, like fictional characters, for the main storyline, but whatever. But this is what I wrote. I wrote this in relation to like the Bill Paxton piece of this. I said, it's easy to trivialize things that we get obsessed with. That's how I put it. And the way, here's how I think about it. It's like when people become obsessed with a certain time period. The example I thought of was people who get obsessed with like the Jane Austen era and the way life is portrayed in her books. And they say to themselves, like, I want to live there. I want to be in that era. But they're kind of like, I think they're sort of missing how, I don't know, like, there's some things that still suck about today, but like, we have it, I think, a little bit better than they did back then. It's like, they make it seem like, oh, it would be great to live in that time period. But then they sort of disconnect from like a lot of the, tough things that people had to go through in that period. It's like you have to give up like modern medicine. You're probably giving up some of your rights, especially if you're a woman, and like your path is being chosen for you. And in this case, the way they portray it is Bill Paxton, he's just dove into Titanic and learned everything he could, and they're literally like being invasive on the ship with their boats,
and
with
he
their
hasn't thought about the people and
it's like at the end of the movie he just kind of this movie's not super subtle. Basically says everything out loud. Yes. But like, he basically says, he's like, I never got it. I never let it in. I never let it in and realized how traumatizing this was for people. And again, it goes back to you, like, the empathy of it. But there's also like things where it's like, I wrote down like the hubris of the rich can lead to chaos, and the poor often suffer the consequences more so than anyone else. Yeah. So it's like that overconfidence and pride of like, oh, this ship's unsinkable. We're not going to put enough boats for everybody because it'll never sink. But then like, guess who gets the shaft in that situation? So there's that. And then of course there's the commentary on, women and how their lives, especially, people of the class that Rose is in, like their lives are like sort of decided for them, which is, it's tough to see that, to a certain degree. And I think we've gotten better over the years, but like, also just like being rich doesn't mean you're going to be happy. Like money doesn't mean happiness necessarily.
Yeah, that's true. Cause that is a big thing in the movie, a big tension that I didn't like acknowledge in this answer. Like,
no,
because her mom is focused on, like, we need to get money from another source because our lives will be over if we don't. And Rose is just, like, constantly feeling like, I don't like this life, and ends up being happier with a poor man.
and that's why it made me think of Jane Austen era, because, like, a big aspect of Jane Austen movies is, like, women were so reliant on the men in their lives. Like, it's like, if you couldn't get married, you're basically screwed. Like, there's nothing you can do. Like, you have to marry in order to, have some sort of financial stability. And so it's like, it made me think about that. But then the other thing I wrote is, like, being rich also leads to you being super snobby and seeing poor people as lesser humans and that kind of thing, which is horrible and not universally true, because we see that with, like, Kathy Bates' character. Like, she seems to empathize with Jack and helps him out and all that stuff. And she also stands up at the end. She has that really great scene we can talk about. But yeah, and I also think that, like, again, James Cameron was trying to be true to the story. I think he was trying to create this sort of historical document that people could look at and just really learn what was going on.
Yeah,
so
experience it somewhat.
So yeah, I think we're in agreement though on, like, I think the big thing is that idea of, like, not trivializing these historical events. Yeah. Like, really try to understand that it was awful. Like, it was horrible what they had to go through.
Yep.
Which, I don't know what I have a hard time believing you're going to say no to this question. But do you like how this movie ends? Is there anything that you would change about it?
Yes. So I put cheesiness aside. I do really like the ending. So I like that we see, and that's why I say it's cheesy, I admit. But if you put that aside, I do like that we see Rose and Jack reunited on the ship.
Yep.
It is cheesy, I'm aware. But like, I also just like love the handling of the transition where you go from old Rose sleeping, and you see all of her photographs that she insisted on taking, and
which is a little weird when you really think about it. It's like,
yes,
she travels all that way and she's like, I'm gonna bring a bunch of photos of myself.
Yes, that's true. They're like all photos of just her, so that's yes, it has issues.
Didn't see any kids.
But again, you put some filters on. You see like all the stuff that she did in her life, and you think after watching this horrible thing happen, you see like she was happy. She did all this cool stuff. It looks like she learned to fly an airplane. She rode horses on Santa Monica Pier, like her and Jack talked about, which is like, yes, it's on the nose, but it's so cute. Anyway, going from the panning over those photos and going to the old ship, down at the bottom of the ocean, and that beautiful, I don't care what anyone says, beautiful transition of the old ship into the brand new, just beautiful ship. That transition is amazing to me. I love it. And the music, like you said, is just, elevates it immensely. Yeah. However, that being said, I do not like the Bill Paxton ending of the story, I guess the modern part of it, because there's the reuniting and all of that I described. I like that. Sure. But I am not really a fan of Bill Paxton just having that super quick line on the nose line of I never let it in, and it's like I don't really believe that he was hit that way, and that he would, I don't know, so that doesn't work for me. It's it's not subtle. Not subtle. It's and then the only other thing about that is old Rose dumping the heart of the ocean on the back of the boat. That I'm not a fan of, because it's on one hand, I like that it's a twist. Sure. In the sense that that you started the movie. Where is this precious diamond, this valuable diamond? Where is it? They're looking for it, and we're telling this elaborate story just to figure out where it is. Then you kind of forget about it the whole movie until the end. And twist, she had it with her the whole time. She gives that not so subtle look when he mentions that it went down with the ship, and she's like, oh, you see it on her face, oh, they don't know that I have it. Yeah. They think I don't, yeah. So it's I do appreciate that it was a twist there, and they do the little flashback of her finding it in her coat pocket. But it's just too ridiculous that this old woman would have held on to that giant diamond for how many years? And screw her family out of any money they could have gotten from that. Screw these people that I literally invited her onto their ship to help them find it. So it's the idea of that is just ridiculous. So I wish that were different. I'm actually, I'm surprised you're being as harsh about that as you are. I'm actually I think surprised. I've grown more harsh. I think as a child that didn't bother me that much, but the older I've gotten, it's she could have told them, she could have told her family, they could have gotten some huge inheritance from it. Yeah. And then there was this moment watching it this time that I don't think I've ever thought of before, which is crazy because I've seen it so many times. She just willingly was yes, take me onto your boat. What was she thinking? she saw the news announcement that they're looking for this diamond, and she's like, oh, I want to go on a boat. Like, I'm going to call these people and, like, make them take me out to sea so that I can just tell my story and then dump the... like, it's just, yeah. Oh, man. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry. Long answer there.
So you think she should have just, like, given it to him? She should have given it to Bill Paxton, and then he's like, no, and he throws it in.
I mean, I honestly don't know how they should have handled it. Quick thinking, I would prefer, I think, if she had given it to them or if she just didn't have it. I think that honestly would have been the most ideal situation, because then in my mind it was like the story started looking for this diamond, but as I said, you kind of don't care about the diamond the whole movie.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of would have been the point. Like, why did we circle back around to close it? I get it, but like that's not what's important anyway. So if they had just like revealed, oh, it actually did sink to the bottom of the ocean during this scene or something, rather than have her just harshly dump it so they can't find it. Yeah. Is that kind of what you were thinking? Or
well, so I have to say, like, a lot of my thoughts in regards to this are not original to me. I've heard other people talk about this movie, and some of it I'm like, yeah, and that's one of them where it's like, really, like you're gonna just toss that? And I didn't even think about it from the perspective of like, she went to the ship knowing they were looking for it, and then didn't bother. Like, she was like, I'm gonna toss it. Like, no. The funny thing is I actually found myself justifying the end a little bit more this time watching it. I was kind of going into it with like some of these, negative thoughts about it, but I found myself being like, you know what? I can actually find ways to make this better for myself. Here's my hot take, though. I told Sarah about this, and she said, Becca's not going to go for this, and you're wrong. And I was like, but I think it makes the movie a little bit better, a little more palatable. You ready for this?
Okay, let's hear it.
For me, the ending only really works and doesn't make me hate Rose as a person if the final vision of the Titanic and her going back and seeing Jack and everyone on the ship is just a dream and not her dying. And I know.
What?
Like, okay, look.
Explain.
To me, it's a little bit ambiguous of what's happening. It's like, does she really go on that ship, go to sleep one night and die on the ship after telling her story? Like, that's kind of convenient. I know that's pretty heavily implied, admittedly. And then she's going to heaven, and heaven for her is the Titanic, full of people that most of them she spent like a day or two with, and that's it, including Jack.
Right.
And who cares that she had a husband and children and other relatives that like, it's like they're just going to not acknowledge that. And that this
strong argument against it.
So here's my thing. If it's a dream, then it's like, oh yeah, of course you would dream about this crazy experience you had that you just retold to everybody in the room. And it's like, then it doesn't make her look like she's just so fixated on that her, I'm assuming she has a husband.
Right, that she forgot about her whole family.
So it was weird. I was like, actually, this is okay if this is just a dream. If it really is death in heaven, then it's like, what the heck?
Yeah. Because I know that's like such a strong criticism, and that is fair. It always comes up. And that's why I'm like, you have to just like look past it.
But so here's the other thing that I defended. I actually found a way to justify her throwing it the gem. Okay. What does that gem really symbolize? Like, you could say it symbolizes something special that happened between her and Jack, but it was almost kind of like it was a symbol of her relationship with Cal.
Yes.
It was like, this is this rich life that I used to live in that I didn't actually like. And she even put it in a letter like, now you can have both this picture of me and this stone locked up. She never wanted that stone. I kind of see it as like, she realizes she's telling the story that stone is like a thing she held on to from that past life that she never liked.
Yeah.
And so narratively, it's like she's finally saying, you know what? I should let go of this because I never liked that life anyway. And it's a symbol of that.
No, admittedly, I've like viewed it like that to some extent.
Yeah.
Because clearly she did not like that life, and that ties her back to that terrible man she was with. And so I have viewed it from that perspective of like, at the end, she's just kind of like, you know, this represents bad parts of my life. I'm just going to dump it, and these people don't need to have it. I don't know. That's the other, just that's.
So like, to your point though, like, it's funny. I'm finding my reasons to like defend the ending. So I'm like, maybe I don't want to change anything, but to your point, it is a little on the nose what Bill Paxton says. Yes. I'm wondering if there was some way that they could have just visually shown that feeling from him. Like, he somehow shows that he's sort of going to give up on the whole thing a little bit. And that, I don't know how they would have done that, though. Like, how do they visually say, like, I don't know. Like,
maybe they could have had him. This sounds so cheesy coming out of my mouth now. But maybe they could have had him, like, go into his office, assuming he has an office on the boat. Sure. Maybe a room. I don't know.
Sure he does, yeah.
So maybe they have him go into his office, and he kind of just, like, observes all of the Titanic memorabilia and documentation that he's got, like, hanging around or lying around, and kind of just, like, looks at it differently.
Or he starts putting some of it away, or, like,
I don't know.
Something dramatic. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that makes sense. It's hard. It would be hard to convey that in a way that, like, made sense without just, again, very on the nose, just saying it out loud, which is a large part of what this movie is. And I kind of forgot that narration is present throughout the whole thing, which is kind of a...
Yeah.
I mean, they justify it because she's telling a story to them. But it's like, this movie is just like, the narrator is literally telling us how she's feeling. Like, I feel like I'm going to explode, even though it's like, again, just not very subtle, but that's fine. Whatever. So interesting. Like, I kind of like, I can take it if I just imagine that was a dream and not her dying, but whatever.
No, that definitely does make it a little less...
It's just a one-time dream of reminiscing.
But I think you're right. I think they were strongly hinting that she passed away, but I agree with you. Like, the fact that people will criticize it for the rest of time, that she's choosing to go with this young man that she had one night with over her family in heaven.
Some people are that level of a romantic that maybe they can accept that that's true. But I feel kind of bad for whoever she was with. Assuming, I think she was married, right? She had kids at least, but like maybe they divorced or something. I don't know. That could make it.
There you go.
Yeah, they got,
it was a terrible marriage.
It was a terrible marriage. He let her do anything she wanted. No, I'm just kidding. So who, Becca? Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite and your least favorite character, actor, performance in the movie?
Yeah, so this one's gonna be obvious, probably. My favorite performance is Kate Winslet.
Okay.
Something you'll learn from these podcasts is that Kate Winslet is my favorite actress. I think I have 3 movies on my top 10 that she's in.
Really?
Yeah.
I've looked at you.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look at your top 10 again. I don't remember her being in that many.
I very much, enjoy Kate Winslet. I think she's very talented. And I think this was like one of her first... probably her first major role. It's clearly the role that like kicked her off into stardom.
Yeah.
But also first time she had used an American accent in a movie, which, to be fair, I do notice it a few, like, I can tell that she's trying to have an American accent, but I've always like let it slide because she's also very proper. She comes from a rich background.
I'm going to be talking about this a lot.
So I'm like, you know what? It's not her accent slipping. She just she just sounds proper. Anyway.
I have very strong thoughts on this. We'll get to it.
Oh no. Oh no. But I think she does an amazing job, especially with like the action sequences. Like, I think she conveys fear and like the cold water and just very strong emotions that are very believable to me, as well as like being a young individual. I mean, because she's playing a 16-year-old. I actually don't remember how old she was, maybe 20. But yeah, I think she does that well also. Least favorite, I had a hard time actually coming up with anyone, because any character that's not really like a main character just kind of doesn't stand out or play that big of a part in the movie.
Also, it feels unfair to like give shade to someone who's like purposely trying to be horrible. It's like,
yeah, so maybe we have the same person.
Actually, I doubt it.
Oh, okay.
I doubt it.
Okay. Well, I put my least favorite character, so maybe not necessarily performance, just character.
Sure.
Was Lewis, the guy that works with Bill Paxton's character.
Oh, it's so funny. I actually looked in to see if he had done anything that I had seen ever before, because he almost looks familiar, but interesting. So you don't like his character.
Yeah,
okay.
I just like, I really had to think about it. Like, who do I not like in this movie? And I was like, you know, he has a couple of lines that make me chuckle, actually.
Sure.
But overall, I think he's pretty obnoxious.
Yeah.
He's very loud and crude, and so I just decided he's probably my least favorite.
Fair.
I also like very small. I don't want to say I dislike him, but Jack's friend, and I don't even know how to say his name.
Fabricio?
Is
that what it is?
Yeah. I don't think like he did anything bad as a performance. I just think, I don't know. I don't really understand what he's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
With his ethnicity and everything. Like, I don't know if it's a bad stereotype. I've heard maybe it is.
Is he
I think
sounds
he's
Italian? Yeah.
But yeah, it's like he's a little bit just poor of a... I don't know how to express that.
He definitely feels like he's just playing a stereotype. Which is like
there's not much to him. You don't get like anything out of him as a character, really.
I mean, he has that good scene where his buddy gets shot.
Yes.
And he's like, you know, he's really upset about it, obviously. But
yeah, that's fair. But yeah, his strong accent and just like everything he says kind of seems loud and over the top too with the accent. So
yeah, okay.
But that's not like strong about him. So
fair enough.
What about you?
So it's interesting. Like I kind of expected that you would say Kate or Leo. Kate makes the most sense. I'm gonna throw you a curveball. I don't think you'll disagree with this necessarily, but like I think watching it even a long time ago, I think I was struck by the performance of Victor Garber. Do you know who I'm talking about? He plays Mr. Andrews, the designer of the boat, I suppose, the one who kind of, you know,
Daddy Warbucks.
Yes,
that's how I know him.
no, like I'm very impressed with the way, like, when he realizes what has happened and he realizes the massive mistake he has made, and he knows better than anyone, like, oh no, like, he's the one that, like, his sort of, you know, his overconfidence in what he had done is going to result in a lot of people dying. And the sort of horror in his eyes and the, like, just total depression that he has, it hits really hard. Yeah. And I think he does a great job at doing that. And so he stuck out to me a lot. And I will say, the other one I want to just mention briefly is Kathy Bates has that moment on the boat, like near the end, where she kind of stands up and says, I can't believe all of you people are just like basically being indifferent or too scared or whatever to go out and try and help people. Yeah. You know, she's sort of the exception as far as like the rich people who, and I don't know if they mentioned like how she became rich, and maybe she like can empathize because of past experience, but whatever. That moment was really good by her. And I will say, like, Leo, I actually think Leo does a better job than Kate, personally, but...
I honestly did debate, but I was like, I love Kate Winslet so much that I kind of am biased there.
Sure.
I think they both do an incredible job, but...
Yeah, and... I had to think about this for a second. I wrote down a couple of things for least favorite, but I originally wrote down Rose's mom, but I think it's kind of the point. Like, it's really easy just to say that, like, she doesn't care about her daughter's feelings, but I think it's because she's just, like, stuck in the same exact thing. She probably lived the exact same experience. Yep. And so she's just, like... She's just doing everything she can to try and nudge her daughter in what she thinks is the right direction. But it comes off as like she does not care. But so I mentioned that, but I think that there's some amount of like it makes sense. So here's my answer.
Oh no.
Worst character in the whole movie. That darn dad who takes the son from Leo and then immediately runs right towards the door. That's clearly going to collapse any second and let in a whole bunch of water, basically killing him and his son.
That is devastating.
And ultimately, he was just trying to get his suitcase, I think, which I'm like, dude.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I was just like, come on. You just like, they were trying.
And to be like upset. He's like, not only does he just be like, come with me, son. He's like yelling and like chewing him out like they took his kid. Like, What is wrong with you?
Maybe there's something understandable, but I'm just like, dude, you ran right towards that door? Like,
right.
Come on. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm being harsh. Like, it's probably like, it's hard to think straight in that. But anyway, I was just like, dude, really? And
yeah, that's a good one.
That's rough. That's rough.
Movie that I found hard to think of poor characters. Yeah. Oh, man.
Okay. Becca. Are you ready? What is your favorite scene in this 3 hour and 15-minute movie?
Oh, man. I'm just embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that this is my favorite movie because I know how much crap it gets. And so I'm even more embarrassed.
Oh, no.
To say that...
Oh, no. You're not going to say it, are you?
No. I hope you're not thinking the art scene, because that is not... Well, and why are we calling it the art scene? It's the drawing scene, okay? But no, that is not my favorite scene of the movie.
Why are you embarrassed then? What other scene could it be?
Okay, I'm embarrassed because it's so typical, cheesy, but I decided, and I did have like a contender, so I'll briefly try to go over both. But my favorite scene in the movie is the most, in my opinion, romantic scene in a movie maybe ever.
Okay, now I have a guess.
I may be biased.
I have a guess.
I do love the scene at the front of the ship.
Yeah, with the sunset. And,
yep.
Yep.
It's beautiful. Okay? Mm-hmm. Just let go all of the parodying and jokes.
Yeah. I mean, this whole movie's been parodied to death. I get it.
So, yeah. I understand. You can look at it with a lens where you can just make fun of it like crazy. But if you don't, it really is beautifully shot. And as you mentioned, Kate and Leo have incredible chemistry in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you mentioned, like, early on, maybe if James Horner if he didn't do the score, the movie might not have been as good. I actually thought, like, I don't think other actors could have pulled it off. I mean, they could have, obviously, but I don't think the movie would have worked as well if you took Kate and Leo out.
I don't know. That guy from Waitress could have been a really good...
No, that's my point. I've seen that screen test, and it's like, no, it doesn't work.
For those who don't know, there's an actor in the movie Waitress starring... what's her name?
Carrie Russell.
Carrie Russell. Her abusive husband, he was up for the role, like tested and everything for Jack.
Actual screen tests
exist. Knowing him just from that movie, I'm like, whoa, that would have been...
I think he was in...
That would have been a different movie.
He was in Clueless, which was probably around the same time.
Oh yeah, he was, wasn't he?
So,
yeah.
Anyway, I think he gave off a much different vibe.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, back to the scene. Like it's
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, I think it's beautiful. I actually just learned, according to IMDb, so maybe it's not right. I learned that sunset was actually not CGI.
Yeah, it's real. It's totally real.
I, for some reason, thought it was CGI because I thought I had some, like, images in my head of how they filmed that with, like, the crane going around them, and I thought it was on a soundstage, but it's claiming that the sunset was real.
I'm guessing it's like a mixture.
Mixture.
Because obviously the entire ship is probably, like, there's some stuff going on there where they're extending it probably, so... But yeah, I read the same thing, that like it took a few tries of them waiting for the perfect sunset because they just felt like that was the only way to capture the magic of that moment. Yep. And it was like the last try they got it.
Yep.
Like the
very brief
window. The clouds opened and it was perfect. Yeah. Yep. And they were in such a rush. That's why it's actually a little bit blurry in a couple of parts.
Yep.
I'm guessing some of the close-ups maybe were done after the fact. Or on a soundstage.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But maybe the long shots, like, mostly were real. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, it's beautiful. And I'm obsessed with her dress. I actually love... I know this is like, you're not interested in talking about wardrobe, but all of Kate Winslet's dresses in this movie are just stunning. Stunning. And I love blue and... Yeah, it's a beautiful dress. And that music just softly coming in when she walks up behind him. I mean, come on.
Because it starts off with the soft piano version of it, which, yeah.
Yes. So, and the kiss. The kiss, iconic, incredible. I will say, contender for my favorite scene.
I know what it's going to be.
I don't know if you do.
I'm pretty
Maybe
sure I know.
Maybe you know me better than I think.
I'm waiting for it.
I actually thought this would be my number one. Yeah, he does know. Wow.
No one saw that.
Yeah, no one saw that, but he just like mimicked fireworks going off in the sky. So I have told him how much I love this before. So anyway, the contender.
I've watched it with you. That part, I've watched it with you.
The contender is when Rose actually gets on a lifeboat, and that whole sequence of her just like not wanting to let go of Jack's hand, and the devastatingly beautiful music coming in when their hands let go. And this sequence of her being lowered and the shots of like her looking up at Leo, and this is the firework. It shows a flare go off in the sky behind him, and it's like, that is beautiful.
Probably a real firework.
Yeah, Leo's beautiful. The shot is beautiful. I love it. I just eat up the romantic.
There's nothing wrong with your answers, by the way. Nothing at all.
But then that also continues into her jumping off the lifeboat like last second, which is like crazy, and you're like, you stupid person.
Which is what he says.
Yes, you're so stupid. But I love that running as well, and this is something I was gonna bring up with music. When they're running back to each other, there's specific music that plays that I've always said like mimics running in my mind. There's like this
I call it the Chariots of Fire effect.
Yeah.
It sounds like Chariots of Fire.
There you go. But I love that sound. And again, it's another element that I know people are just like, that's cheesy, but it works for me. So that would have been my other scene. What about you?
So both very, especially, like, it's an iconic scene. It's an iconic scene, the sunset scene. And it's not mine, but, like, I totally get it. And I love James Horner's music. Again, elevates it to another level for me. But, so my favorite scene, and again, I'm a second half of the movie person, and it makes a lot of sense. That's the version of a James Cameron movie I want to watch. But I love the sequence of Rose going down to save Jack when he's handcuffed down there. It's so cool. Because
it really is.
It turns into... it was way more noticeable now watching it. It turns into a combination of Aliens and The Abyss, which are two really great James Cameron movies, by the way, which we'll be talking about. Like, straight up, it's aliens in the abyss. She's going down into this horrible place, you know, that's terrifying with sparks flying and lights going on and off. And I'm like, that's aliens. That's Ripley going down into the elevator to save Newt.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And then the claustrophobia and the fear of drowning, the abyss. Yeah. And the whole thing with her, like, it's like, if it's hit or miss on cutting off the handcuffs with the axe. That's the abyss when he's cutting the wires at the bottom of the ocean. It's like 50-50 chance he's going to kill everyone. It's like, those are such James Cameron
Classic
things. I'm just like, yeah,
Cameron
this is
tropes.
This is great.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. It's thrilling. It makes you feel like anxious.
It really is so good.
So like
and I thought the same thing. Like, I think I said to Kyle, we were watching it together, I was like, this is a full-on horror movie at this point. Yeah. Like, you see the water creeping in down the halls, and it's like...
and that is where James Cameron, like, excels, in my opinion. Like, that's where it's like, yeah, I'm locked in. And that's why this movie appealed to more than just women. Because it did. Like, men enjoyed this movie, too, you know, for various reasons. But, like, that's part of it. That second half of the movie is, like, highly entertaining and devastating in the history and everything else, but like, that's my pick.
Okay.
Especially the second time when she goes back to get the axe or whatever and comes back down and the waters come up a ton.
Yeah. I was very interested to know your answer to that, because I just I didn't know what you would say.
No. Let's hope that this isn't just I tried to be a little bit I don't know, maybe not. Becca, what's the most awkward scene part in this movie for you?
You tried not to what, Jeff?
I think there's very obvious answers to this question.
Yes, there are two scenes in this movie everyone knows. So I really was like, is there any other scene that's awkward, or is it on the nose going to be one of these two? And yes,
which one?
Yeah, I had to decide, and I said the scene, which I've referred to as the drawing scene.
Okay.
Which I have conflicting feelings about calling it the most awkward scene, because I don't actually dislike it, which, judge me for whatever you want there. Because yes, like, I don't want to watch someone naked, you know, on screen. I personally don't. And it is uncomfortable in that regard. But also, as a woman, I don't find it as uncomfortable as I think it might be for others. Seeing Kate Winslet is all I'm saying.
I don't think a lot of men would describe it as uncomfortable, but I won't get into it.
Yeah, that's fair. But I was gonna say, I think part of the confliction there is I almost do like the way it was handled. It's like, yes, I could do without this sequence, but I do like the shots of Leo drawing, just because, like, they're the close-ups of his eyes and his hands.
Yeah.
So I thought, like, that's a good way to handle it.
For these reasons, I'm surprised you picked it.
Yeah. That's where I'm getting to really why I decided that it's the most awkward scene. I think the most awkward thing about it is honestly that the idea that old Rose is telling a group of strangers this very personal moment.
And the way she described it too, it's just like, oh.
She's describing this very intimate erotic scene to a random room of men and her granddaughter.
Yeah, I forgot. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's interesting.
That's what makes me really, that's so awkward. She would not have shared that. But I mean, maybe she would have if she had to explain the drawing, but like, why? Like, Anyway, and then it shows everyone's reaction to the story.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
and they're all
I
like-
don't really like that either, because it's just like a bunch of men smiling, like,
it is a bit weird.
Yeah.
I get that.
so,
I went the other way.
okay.
Despite everything you said, like, I get, and I'm just gonna come out and say it. Like, people can say they don't believe me, and that's fine because of my upbringing, whatever. I have never watched the drawing scene in its entirety. I never have, even in the rewatch. I'm weird. I held up a pillow.
I don't think it's weird. But then again, we came with the same upbringing.
We were brought up like that's like not something I should be indulging in, but whatever. Like so I had a pillow up. Although this is the first time I listened to all the dialogue of that scene, and one of those lines made me laugh really hard. I didn't realize it was there, but anyway, I went with the other scene, the car scene, specifically. The flippin' handprint on the window. I'm like, that was a choice, man. That was a choice.
Yeah.
And it's just like, in my head, I'm like, would that really happen? Like, could she have even done that naturally? Like,
yeah, like, how is she contorting her?
I mean, I think it was like to the right. She would have had to go like this. It's like, that doesn't, like, okay, it's so weird. And then I had this really funny observation. I think indirectly that handprint on the window caused people to die. Did you notice this? They have this quick shot.
Them.
They're looking for him, and they get hung up in that area because they find that, and they're like, they must be in here. So they spend way more time in there. So they basically die immediately when the iceberg hits. So her handprint single-handedly killed a number of people right when the iceberg hit. Super weird. I was like, is this a plot, like part of the plot?
Yeah.
Like, that handprint was there just to drive that home. Like,
I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you. The hand is, so, I do not like the hand. But I didn't choose that scene because it was like, it would just be the hand for me. Because I think the romantic bits leading up.
To be fair, the question says part. It doesn't say part/scene. So it could just be a part.
Okay. The sweaty hand is definitely the most awkward part of the movie.
I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
I couldn't defend that part like some of the other parts that I did, but
you don't want to justify it.
I don't think this answer is going to be the same as that answer, but what's the biggest downfall or what's the biggest pitfall of this movie? Like,
so I feel like my answer is kind of vague on this one. Because as much as I love the movie, we've established it's my favorite movie.
Yep.
It's not perfect.
No.
It's far from perfect.
Some might disagree with you. I think there's people who love this movie even more than you do.
No, I know there are. I was like, I wanted to say the biggest pitfall is probably, again, generic answer, but some of the writing and the dialogue. And I know dialogue is a big one, but I grouped writing into that because after watching it this time so like intently to answer these questions, it was like you go back to the whole, like how Bill Paxton's character at the end, like how he was supposed to have had this change of heart. I think that's a weakness in the writing.
Yeah.
I think the whole setup of how they get to the main story itself is pretty weak.
Sure.
Honestly, like I'm not really a huge fan of the real present day stuff. So yeah, story wise, I think that can be attributed to writing. I could be wrong. And then the dialogue, there are things that are said in the movie that are just like, people wouldn't talk that way. And the specific example that I bring up often, and I feel like I don't know who used to give me crap for this watching it. It was probably Dad. I don't know, though. Maybe it was you.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. It may have been me.
how often Jack and Rose say each other's names.
Jack,
Like,
no, Jack.
Like, it's an inordinate amount. Like, it drives me crazy, and I love the movie.
Yeah, like how many times have we said each other's names in this conversation?
Right.
None.
Right.
Except for when we introduced at the beginning.
And it's like, you think about even like your own relationships. It's like when I met Kyle, I rarely used his name. Like when we're together, right? Oh yeah, you're talking about Kyle. I'm saying his name.
Yeah.
But when you're with that person, no. Why did James Cameron think that they need to say each other's name
So
like,
much.
every time they're together and repeatedly, like in a lot of scenes? So that does bother me. And yeah.
You won't forget their names because of that.
That's probably why I did it.
We're actually pretty close on this. We're pretty aligned. So this all kind of lines up together, and so the way I'll put it is like, this is James Cameron, who up to this point, he's known for the Terminator movies, Aliens, True Lies, The Abyss. These are all sci-fi action movies, essentially, right? For the most part. And the spy, action movie with Arnold. But like, then he just hops right in and says, I'm not gonna just direct. I'm going to write and direct a movie that is very much a period romance for an hour and a half. And I think that it shows. Yeah. Frankly, even in the movies that I love of his, I still think some of his dialogue is a little bit like, I don't feel like people really talk that way. It was less bad, I think, for some of his older movies, but like in Titanic especially, and I think even after with the Avatar movies, I just feel like his dialogue is so... It just doesn't feel normal to me, and it's very obvious in this movie to me. Like, I was going back and forth because I think Kate Winslet's character, like her dialogue in particular, is the worst offender in the movie. And it goes back to what you said about how like, it didn't even occur to me, oh yeah, she's faking an American accent. That's probably part of what I'm hearing.
Okay.
It's also probably part of she's trying to be super proper. I get that, but it's like so much of what she says feels very forced and fake to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think part of it is just the dialogue. I think part of it is that. But maybe some of it's also like, I also made note that I feel like the dialogue gets better over the course of the movie. Again, I found myself justifying some of this a little bit. I was like, well, maybe they were going for a thing where, like, because of her trying to pretend to be okay with her life, being rich and all this stuff, and being basically, like,
she comes off fake.
She's like, it's a mask, maybe. She's just pretending to be this persona. Like, she's putting on this persona that's not real. And so as she breaks down and becomes more comfortable with Jack, like, her real stuff comes out, and so therefore it becomes more natural. Maybe. Yeah. But I just can't let it go. It's just like, it feels unnatural for so much of the first half of the movie, and it's like, I can't get past it. I don't know why.
I think I knew we were going to agree that dialogue is a weak point for sure.
I think so.
There's a lot of there's also where you're just like, no.
And it's not just the properness either. It could also be that he's trying to write characters that sound like from that time period, maybe. But I don't know. It feels kind of fake to me personally. Also, we've mentioned it a couple times. The movie's not very subtle.
Very on the nose.
Oh, I was going to say, there are a couple of things that haven't aged well in the visual effects department. Yeah. There are a few things. Yeah. Not too much. There was one part that looked pretty bad on the big screen in my basement. Like, there's a part where they're running from the water down the hallway. You can tell they composited faces on there, and it looks really bad.
I think that, I don't know if that used to just not be as noticeable
because
on
we had
VHS.
Worse television.
Worse quality. Or if it was my age. But yeah, like, I didn't really notice that. I noticed it so hard. I noticed it last night for sure. It looks terrible.
Yeah. So I think this might be the part we talk about the most. Maybe not. Maybe we'll be quick. What's your favorite musical element from the film? Like musical moment or what piece of the music do you love the most?
Yeah, I honestly, maybe you have more to talk about than I do on this, because I've already touched on a few things with the music. I love the music.
Yeah. I actually really enjoy the music. James Horner.
Maybe one of James Horner's best, honestly.
I mean, it's in his top 3 at the very least.
But I did talk about that, what you called the Chariots of Fire thing. I do. Yeah. That's not my favorite, but I do very much enjoy that plays during intense moments with the running. And just, I think my favorite is going to be like that classic piano theme, like that plays at the front of the boat. That romantic sunset scene. It plays during the drawing scene. Obviously, there's like variations of it, but that is the heart and soul of that movie.
Yeah.
And then I was just gonna touch the opening. Like, I don't know how that sound is created, but like there's this choral, like.
Yeah.
I don't want to attempt to sing it, but when the movie first opens and you're seeing the old footage of the ship and people waving, and then it turns to the water and you get the title Titanic. You've got that very like almost like haunting, like it's hauntingly beautiful, I want to say, like, because it sounds reflective.
It's kind of
sad and beautiful, and it's just like perfect.
It's also frustrating because I feel like Celine Dion gets way more credit than she deserves, because she sang the song, but none of the score throughout the movie is her.
Yeah.
It's some other singer who's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, they've recently had some footage of her performing it in the studio.
Okay.
I wish I could remember her name, but not Celine Dion. Like
it wasn't... No.
It wasn't Enya.
Yeah, I thought I had some weird recollection of her being connected to Enya, but maybe not.
She might be... I vaguely remember that too. I just know it wasn't Enya.
Okay.
But she kills it in the score. It's
but incredible. At the same time, I'm like, is that just vocals?
Well,
is it altered vocals?
It's possible. Like, maybe it's overdubbed so that it's like... I
can't really tell if it's...
It's got a little bit of that Enya feel to it, which again, that's just like, it's just layered. It could be the singer singing it multiple times. Also, he did something weird where I think he's doing like a keyboard version of a choir for certain parts. You know that part that's like the... Like, I think he did a keyboard of choir, which it's very artificial sounding, but it works.
Yep. That's when the ship's first taking off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the weird choral music that I can't really figure out, but like it's beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you? What do you have to say about the music?
So I have to mention something about James Horner. We lost him too soon.
Yes.
He died very young. I think he was in his 40s, and I was actually pretty upset when he died. Very tragic. But one of the things I love about this movie in particular is that it was basically James Cameron and James Horner reconciling with each other. I don't know if you know about this. So they worked together one other time before this movie, years before, on Aliens. So James Horner did the music for Aliens, and they worked together, and it was a horrible experience for both of them, and they were very frustrated with each other. It was like the worst working relationship ever. Like, James Horner was super upset because he had to work in this crappy environment. Like, the studio was really low tech, and he wasn't used to that. And James Cameron was just like trying to get things done as fast as possible, reshooting, recutting, and James Horner's over there like, they're like, you have one day to like get this to work, and he's just like, I can't work like this. Like, you have no idea how to work with a composer, because he hadn't really worked with one up to that point, really. So they just had like a falling out after that. But then James Horner did Braveheart.
Yep.
That's top 3 for him too. And James Cameron heard that and was like, oh man, I need to make things right with this guy because he needs to do my next movie.
He needs to be the one.
I think he basically, like, they had to have a dinner or something together and like talk it through and be like, I'm really sorry about everything that happened all those years ago. Please do this movie with me, kind of thing.
Wow. Yeah, I think I remember hearing you tell me that.
This is something you see a lot with, like, I think Steven Spielberg and John Williams, they have stories similar to this, but it's like, it's so incredible to think about, like, James Horner sitting down, James Cameron at a piano, both of them, and he's like, here's what I wrote.
Yeah.
And then he plays on the piano, essentially the Rose theme.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, first time you're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I'm like, James Cameron was like, this is going to be an incredible movie.
Yeah. Putting the music to it, like, but it would, like, make it come alive.
I mentioned a lot of the stuff you mentioned. One you didn't mention, I'm kind of surprised by. I think the music's great. The reveal for Rose, the first time you see her, and she has the hat on. Yeah. Really great musical moment.
I love that shot so much.
It's really well done.
Every time.
The dolphins jumping, and they're pushing the ship up to high speed, and like the dolphins are jumping, and it's the king of the world moment. But like, music's really great right there. Really, really triumphant and like optimistic. And then the sunset scene, yes. The fireworks scene, yes. I agree. Those are all great. Also, the quiet, like, and it gets louder, but like Rose realizing when Jack is dead. Yep. It hits really hard.
Because the choral stuff comes in too.
Kicks in again. And then also it builds as she like does everything she can to survive in that moment. Yeah. It's really great. Yep. Here's something that shocked me a little bit though. The second half of the movie doesn't actually have as much James Horner music as I remembered. Not as much. And the reason I bring that up, it's good. It allows the movie to breathe. There's actually moments where it's great to just not have music. It makes it more suspenseful, you know, all these kinds of things. But like, I feel weird saying this. I've been gushing over James Horner, but the best musical moment is Nearer My God to Thee. That's the best moment. I'm not, like, I can't deny it. It was the most emotional scene for me. Them play, and it's real. I think that's a true story. They really played while it was sinking, but then they're cutting to all the shots of these real people in these moments, like the couple who just chose to lie down and die. Yep. Oh my gosh, the mother and her two children.
Yes, that is
true stories, right? Those are real, I think. At least the couple one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the couple is real. I don't know about the children.
I think I read somewhere that couple that just chose to die together, I think that was part of the inspiration for Rose, the I jump, you jump idea.
Yeah, because that old woman had said to her husband,
I'm not leaving you.
I won't get, like, we'll die together, but, like, essentially.
Cutting, and then also just showing the chaos of people, like, dying and struggling, like, while that's playing, that juxtaposition, like, it's incredible. It was a great choice.
Yeah, very good choice.
Not James Horner, but like
very impactful.
He elevated the movie so much, but like that was the right choice, and it was perfect.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I should have brought that up. I don't know why I didn't.
How dare you?
I know, but the reason I say that I should have is because, like, I consider that, and it sounds cheesy because, you know, this is my favorite movie. I consider that my favorite hymn at church.
Sure. Yeah.
And obviously that came from this movie, but it's a beautiful hymn and very, very powerful there.
Many people, I think, love that. It's.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my take. What was your favorite piece of trivia on IMDb? That's what we specifically say, but did you have one? There's a lot. There's a lot of trivia.
I have kind of a weird answer. Well, because I came up with a few, because I can't narrow these down. I'm really struggling. But I, like, wanted to mention a couple things that don't necessarily come from IMDb.
Oh, that's funny. I'm in the same boat.
I do have a couple that I found on IMDb that I could mention, but I think I'm just going to stick with what I had originally for sake of time. I was just going to mention that in terms of awards, I've always, because this is my favorite movie, and I did this a lot more when I was a child, I've always flaunted how many awards.
It was nominated for 14, was that what it was?
Yeah, so that's like the trivia, like just the little, I guess, facts about it that I was going to bring up, because even though I did know like the number of awards that it was nominated for and won, I found it interesting, the little information I found with it. So apparently Titanic is tied with 2 other movies for most Academy Award nominations.
Is Lord of the Rings one of them?
So this is just nominations, not wins.
Yeah.
And that's 14, right? And apparently the other 2 movies, one is a really old one that I haven't seen called All About Eve from 1950.
Okay.
But the other one is La La Land.
Oh, really?
So La La Land, which is also a movie I love, is tied for the most nominations, 14.
And it's first place, like tied for first in terms of, okay.
Yeah. Wow. So that was like shocking to me because I didn't know that.
So you gave you made the distinction of nominations. Is that because did Return of the King win more, or did something recently win more, like Oppenheimer or something?
No, I was going to get into the wins next.
Okay.
So what's funny is it's also tied on wins. So I always knew it's won the most, but I didn't know others had won the same amount. So it's won 11 Oscars.
Yep.
And the other 2 movies that have won 11 Oscars were the 1959 Ben-Hur and Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Yeah, I thought Return of the King was.
And I had no idea. I've just always been like, Titanic's won the most. It's the best. So to find out that, Lord of the Rings is tied was kind of a surprise to me.
Return of the King took everything that year, it seems like. But
yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned the rewards, because one of the things that surprised me, I didn't realize this, there were no actor wins. No actor wins, right?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Which, I mean, as much as I love the performances, I kind of get it. Because you even said, like, you don't think Kate Winslet's that great in it, and I can accept that, and I get like she wouldn't be at award level in that movie. That's early in her career, but
sorry, I kind of just wanted to rub it in your face a little bit. No.
She was nominated, okay.
She was nominated, okay. I didn't. Oh yeah, but so I also didn't have something from IMDb because I had to share this, because for anyone who doesn't know about this, they need to know about this because it's insane.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you know about this, so I don't think you're going to be surprised, but maybe you're surprised that I'm bringing it up. Do you remember the show? We watched it as children with our family all the time. We watched the show Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. Do you remember that show?
Yes. I just sent you a meme.
That's true. Jonathan Frakes, asking all those weird questions.
From Beyond Belief.
Do you know what I'm going to bring up?
No.
So for those who don't know, Beyond Belief is a show where they basically present, like, I think it was 4 or 5 little mini stories per episode, and then the idea is you have to try and guess which one of them are completely made up for the show, and then some of them are actually based on reality. They actually happened, right?
Yep.
And I remember, I think we had this episode recorded, which is why I know it so well and remember it so well. There is a story that they presented where a guy, like, the way they present it is a guy writes, he draws a picture of a boat, and then he proceeds to write a novel. And this ended up being a true story.
Oh,
he wrote a novel in 1898 called Futility. Okay, 1898 was 14 years before the Titanic sank. In his story, he writes about a ship called the Titan. The Titan.
I forgot about that.
The ship goes into the Atlantic. It's about the same size as what the Titanic ends up being. It hits an iceberg, sinks in the Atlantic Ocean. There weren't enough lifeboats, and people die.
Wow.
That all happens in his book.
Yeah.
And people were literally like, oh my gosh, this guy is like clairvoyant. He like had a premonition, and he's like, no, like I think he was obsessed with like the engineering of boats, and like he's like anyone could have came to some of those conclusions. It's just very coincidental, but it's like insane. Like that actually happened. The part that's a little messed up that I read about is after the actual Titanic sank, he like rebranded the book to like make more money, I think. Or something. Like he renamed it to The Wreck of the Titan, and then like made some subtle changes.
Oh man.
And I'm pretty sure he did it because he wanted to capitalize on like kind of messed up, but also like crazy how similar the story is, like insane.
Yeah. I had totally forgotten about that, but now that you've brought it up, I do remember because I think that was one of the like facts in my Titanic facts book.
Super wild that happened. Anyway, I had to bring that up. I think that's just one of the most fascinating things.
No, that is.
Favorite quote, Becca? There's a lot of quotes. I was surprised how many I wrote down. I'm going to pick one, but I wrote a lot.
Wow. That actually surprises me because I was going to say I don't really have a favorite quote. I don't find this movie quotable necessarily. Like there's obvious ones that are iconic, and I'm sure I say them just because they are iconic. Like I'm king of the world. And I'll never let go. If you jump, I jump. So those are the three that I put, but it's like I don't really have a favorite.
Yeah, I think a lot of the ones that I wrote down, I think are just like they're the well-written lines that kind of hit hard, but they're not necessarily ones that I'm just blabbering off all the time, you know? Like I wrote down some things like it made me laugh when the old lady's like talking about the drawing. It is me, wasn't I a dish?
Yeah, that
like
funny.
Kind of awkward things.
Yes.
With all due respect, miss, after she calls Jack crazy, with all due respect, miss, I'm not the one hanging off the back of a ship.
Yeah.
There were a couple of things like that.
I know what ice fishing is.
Yeah. And then this is a pretty brutal one when Rose says, I'd rather be his whore than your wife. Oof.
I did think about that. That is well written.
Yeah, and then there's some funny ones, but so I had to pick this one because I didn't realize this line was there because, again, this is the first time I'd listened to all the dialogue during the drawing scene. It made me laugh really hard when she said something along the lines of, can't imagine you'd see Monet blushing. Yeah,
Monsieur Monet blushing.
And then Jack, he does landscapes.
Yeah, I do like that line as well. That is funny.
That made me laugh really hard. But I'm surprised you didn't bring up like, you're so stupid, Rose. Why did you do that? You're so stupid.
That just bothers me because he says Rose so much. I don't know.
And then this apparently was thought of on the day by Kate Winslet, supposedly. Jack, this is where we first met.
I almost said that one.
When they're on the top of the ship and it's sinking.
I felt conflicted about saying that as like a favorite line because I feel like I don't know if I think it's that great of a line per se. It's more of like I enjoy that
contextually
moment.
It makes a great moment. Yeah.
I do love that moment because you've got the music and they're just like terrified and shivering.
But
and
she has that moment of just like thinking about their relationship.
So it's like I decided not to say it because I don't necessarily think it's this great line of dialogue. But
if it's true, that's pretty cool that Kate Winslet thought of that on the day.
Yes, that is true.
All right, Beck. The time has come. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think Kyle rated this movie? My understanding is he watched it with you.
He did. I got Kyle to sit through
3-hour movie.
The 3-hour movie.
That came out in the 90s.
Yes. That was pretty impressive. I honestly have no idea what he would say on this one. I mean, I guess that's usually the case. I'm going to guess that he would give it a 4. And I'm saying that only because I'm guessing he is not really a fan, but I'm hoping
that he likes it more than Uncle Buck.
Yes. That's the only reason I'm bumping it up to a 4 because I wanted to say 3 again, but I'm hopeful that he would rate this beautiful, magnificent movie at least higher than Whip It and Uncle Buck.
So I feel a little bit bad.
Oh no.
He gave me two answers. I was very shocked by his first answer, and then he adjusted based on my shock. But I'll give you both. His first answer, he said, and this is very Kyle, of course. He's got a very particular thing he's going for here. He said, it's probably 2 pi. Meaning 3.14 times 2.
Oh.
So
but then he backtracked.
I literally said 6.2? Really? And then I was like, wait, I'm sorry, no judgment. I just want to make sure you're accurately represented.
Oh
and then he said, okay, maybe a pi and a half.
Wow.
And then he said, it's a pretty average movie. I wouldn't choose to put it on, but if it's on, I will usually watch for a few minutes before moving on with my life. Which I said, so closer to a 5.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Closer to a 5.
Well, thank goodness. I at least can say he rated my favorite movie higher than the others.
Yep.
That's a relief. All right, what do you think Sarah gave it, Jeff?
I'm just ending up in the same places here. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna go higher than I was thinking. I bet she gave it an 8. I think she gave it an 8. I think she likes this movie more than I think she does, despite us never really watching it together. I think she gave it an 8. Let's go with it.
Wow, you guessed right.
Yes!
She gave it an 8. She said, I'm going to go with 8 again. I was confused why she said again. That's what she gave Whip It.
Oh, she gave Whip It an 8. That's right. And it was higher than I expected.
So she said, I'm going to go with 8 again. I enjoy watching it. It feels a little long for my taste, but I like it.
Period romance. Sarah loves Pride and Prejudice. I'm like, I kept thinking about Pride and Prejudice for some reason. It felt... Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know if there's any relation, like, as far as the time period. It's probably... I think it's later than that. But
I just, didn't know... Yeah, I didn't know what Sarah would say. Because, yeah, she likes romantic period pieces, but I don't think my memory's terrible. I don't think we've watched Titanic together, me and her, but yeah.
Cool. Okay. So random unscripted questions. I'm going to be mean.
Oh no.
No, not mean. I'm going to be... I can't help it. I have 2 questions.
Okay.
Do you want the fun one or the hard one first?
I don't know. I guess the fun one.
Becca, what's your favorite Rose outfit in the movie?
Wow, you knew that
I wrote mentioned... That was one of the first questions I wrote down. What's your favorite Rose outfit?
This is the fun one?
Yeah, I thought that would be fun.
Well, it is fun, but I have to think about it still. Because now I'm I don't remember the outfits. No, it's not that hard, because I think there's 2 dresses that...
if you remember it, then it's got to be one of that.
There's 3 dresses that stand out now that I'm thinking about it. There's the yellow dress that she first walks out on the balcony and Jack sees her in. That one's beautiful.
Plays the very beautiful mind-sounding song.
Yes. And then there's a really pretty green dress. I think she's walking around the deck with Jack in.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I think that's when she's wearing it. But no, I'll say the blue dress.
Now, she wears that during the sunset scene?
During the sunset scene. Because it's got those long, flowing things off the sleeves. And
I actually
lacy and blue. It just works. This is true for all of those dresses. They are very, colorful, but they works really well with her hair color.
Sure.
I told Kyle, I would never choose to have that bright red hair. Mm-hmm. Not that she chose it. It's probably supposed to be natural, but I'm that's not my thing. But man, the colors they chose with her outfits really make that hair color work.
I think I'm a little partial to the one she wears at the end of the movie when she's going back to the ship. That's a pretty dress.
Yes.
You're gonna hate me for this. I'm so sorry. I have to ask it.
Oh, no.
I had to come up with a good way to word this. What percentage, and I want a percentage from you.
Oh, my gosh.
What percentage of the success of this movie was due to the PG-13 nudity?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, no. Oh, that's terrible.
I had to ask it. I'm so sorry. You have to give me a percentage now.
It's probably higher than I'd like to admit, which is just sad. Oh, man. I don't know. That's really hard.
It's like 30% James Horner. It was the reason. 30% Jack and Leo, and then another 30%.
Oh. See, and
No.
I was probably like, I'm probably lowballing, but the first number that came to mind is maybe 20%.
20%. How much did this movie make?
I don't know. A lot.
So that's a lot of money.
Yeah. No, that's sad, but true. You gotta think there were a lot of teenage boys that would have gone to that. Yeah.
20%? You going with it?
Yeah, I'll say 20%.
I think that's fair. I probably would have gone a little higher, but...
Yeah, that's why I said I'm probably not.
I mean, I'm not going to bring up any more things, but 20%, I'll go with it. Thank you.
We'll just agree that it was probably significant.
Yeah.
But I like to think that its success minus that is it still would have been pretty successful.
Fair enough.
But also, randomly I'll throw in, I think that the movie probably should be rated R. With that scene, I defended it for a long time as a child because I probably didn't even watch the scenes as a child.
I mean, even the intensity of what's happening.
Yes.
Like, there's some pretty, there's some pretty intense stuff happening. It's like, yeah, I mean...
But yeah, I defended it saying, like, it's an art scene. You're not watching a sex scene, but just seeing a fully nude woman, like, come on, like, I think it deserves a rating just so that kids don't watch that. Coming from a person who watched it as a child.
Right?
Yeah. But as you said, I mean, it's very scary and going through some traumatic stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I was a little shocked by, like, when they go through and it's all the dead bodies in the ocean.
Yes,
it's like,
and there's a woman with a baby.
Oh, yeah, that was bad. I that hit harder where I'm at with my life. That felt a little worse. It
did hit me, and there's like 3 distinct moments with children in the movie that you're like, oh, I have a child. I literally told Kyle, that little boy, that his father grabs him and runs towards the water I told Kyle, I'm like, what if that were Kira just like standing there crying? Like, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Anyway, sorry. Moving on, after all of that, I do not have a good question for you. It's kind of a 2-parter to the same question. I really couldn't think of a good one. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Why?
What?
This is a weird format of a question.
Why?
Why do you think
Oh.
they made the decision to give Bill Paxton's character an earring? And would you ever consider wearing an earring?
Would I ever consider? I'll answer the second part. I don't think I'll ever have an earring personally, and that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with it. I don't know. Like, is this around the time when, like, it was sort of a big deal that Harrison Ford was wearing an earring? Like, maybe
I have no idea. Maybe.
I don't think they were trying to say anything, frankly. Like, I don't think they were...
I wasn't getting into that.
It was a choice. I don't know.
It's silly. That's all. And I just was like, why? Like, I joked with Kyle, like, were they trying to make him more like a pirate or something? Because he's searching for this treasure.
Well, like, I mean, some people might say, no, I don't know. I don't think they were trying to say anything with it. I think it was just...
I just thought it was funny.
Who made that decision?
Exactly.
Right? Like, did
That's
James Cameron
like,
write it in the script that way? And I mean,
right?
I don't know.
Is that costume design?
That's the first thing that comes to mind. Is like, I feel like Harrison Ford was probably rocking his earring around that time, but like, I don't know what that means. Like, did James Cameron just like, oh, Harrison Ford wearing an ear? Okay,
yeah,
I'm writing that in the movie.
That's what I just thought. It was a funny thought to pursue. Like, was it James Cameron who was like, I want this guy?
Or did Bill
to wear an
Paxton
earring?
make a choice?
Did Bill Paxton want to wear it? Did costume just say, yeah, this guy's wearing an earring? Like, who made that choice?
Maybe the earring is actually an artifact from the Titanic.
Oh, there you go.
He found an earring at the bottom of the ocean and he wears it.
Yes, prized Titanic finds that he keeps with him always.
That's adding a whole other layer,
because he's all about the bling.
So
that's
much,
why he wants that necklace.
He wants necklace.
He's gonna wear it.
They need to have... That's how the movie should have ended, is like, at some point Rose looks at Bill Paxton and is like, is that my earring? Did I wear that on the ship? Like, no, that's so dumb.
Oh, man.
Well, thank you for that. That was that was quite the question.
Yeah, you'd think I could come up with a better question for my favorite movie, but that's what came out.
I love it. Well, Becca, we did it. We're here. We talked about your number one movie. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah. So nothing else is going to compare, so...
Apparently. I don't know when we're going to end up doing my number one. I do know what my number one is.
You have a number one.
I do. We don't need to reveal that right now.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well,
this was fun.
It was fun.
This was fun.
As always.
And I don't think it was as long as we thought it might be. It's long.
It is long, but for one of the longest movies on our list.
It's probably the longest, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
all right. I guess we'll figure out what your next movie is.
I have to make a choice now. Dang it. Thanks for listening, everyone. Anyone who is listening.
Yeah. Hopefully the audio was all right. We did try a new microphone.
We tried a new microphone today. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll see.
All right. Join us again if you are curious what Jeff's next favorite movie is.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. Bye.
Bye, everyone.